In this video, you'll learn how to solve 5 classic rotational motion problems, with each problem getting more difficult. A solid disk of mass m and radius r rolls without slipping down an incline at angle theta. Find the linear acceleration of the center of mass. We're also given the rotational inertia is equal to 1 over 2 mr squared. Our first step will be to define our system, which is the solid disk. Next, we're going to choose our positive direction. I'm going to choose down the ramp as my positive x direction and perpendicular to the ramp and away from the ramp as my positive y direction and counterclockwise as my positive direction. Next, we're going to draw the force diagram. I'm going to start with gravity force mg, which will go straight down. Then I will draw the normal force, which is in the positive y direction. There's also friction between the disk and the ramp, and the friction force will be up the ramp. Notice that now all the forces are on the x and y axis, so we're going to have to break them into components. Gravity force is not on the x and y axis, so we're going to have to break it into its parallel and perpendicular component. The perpendicular component is right next to theta, so it's going to be mg cosine theta, and the parallel component, which is opposite of theta, will be mg sine theta. To find the linear acceleration, we're going to need to know all the forces along the x direction. And one of those forces is friction. We're going to use net torque is equal to I times alpha to find the friction. For the torque, we're going to choose the center of mass as our axis of rotation. This way, only friction is producing a torque on our disk. The normal force and mg will not be producing any torque on the disk because they go through the center of mass. So the torque exerted by friction is Fr, and we get Fr is equal to I times alpha. We're given that the rotational inertia is equal to 1 over 2 mr squared, and using our bridging equation, linear acceleration is equal to alpha times r. Substituting this to what we had earlier, we get Fr is equal to 1 over 2 mr squared times a over r. Canceling out the r's, we get F is equal to 1 over 2 ma. Next, we're going to analyze the translational motion of this disk using Newton's second law. Net force in the x direction is equal to ma. The net force is the forces going in the positive direction minus the force going in the negative x direction. So we get mg sine theta minus the friction is equal to ma. Earlier, we found that friction is equal to 1 over 2 ma, so we'll substitute that into our equation. We get mg sine theta minus 1 over 2 ma is equal to ma. Next, we're going to add 1 over 2 ma on both sides, which gives us mg sine theta is equal to 3 over 2 ma. The m's will cancel out, which gives us a linear acceleration of 2 over 3 g sine theta. Next, we're going to look at a torque on a rod about one end. A uniform rod of length L and mass m is pivoted about one end. A force F is applied at the other end at angle theta. Find the angular acceleration. And we're given the rotational inertia of the rod is 1 over 3 ml squared. Our system will be the rod, and we're going to choose counterclockwise as our positive direction. Now notice that the force is not perpendicular to the rod, so we're going to have to break it into components. And remember that for torque, it's the perpendicular component that is actually causing the torque. Since the perpendicular component is opposite theta, that perpendicular component will be F sine theta. Next, we're going to apply net torque is equal to I times alpha. The net torque is the torque going the positive direction minus the torque going the negative direction. We're also going to substitute the rotational inertia that was given 1 over 3 ml squared, and that gives us LF sine theta is equal to 1 over 3 ml squared times alpha. One of the L's will cancel out, and solving for alpha, the angular acceleration, we get 3F sine theta divided by ml. Next, we'll look at a yo-yo string unwinding problem. A solid cylinder of mass m and radius r has a string wrapped around it and is released from rest. Find the linear acceleration as it falls. We're given the rotational inertia of the solid cylinder is 1 over 2 mr squared. Our system is the solid cylinder, and I'm going to choose counterclockwise to be the positive direction and down to be the positive direction. Next, we're going to draw the force diagram. There's gravity force pulling it down, mg, and there's tension force pulling it up along the direction of the string, and it's going to be in the up direction. Our game plan will be to first find an expression for the tension force. Then, using that expression for tension force, we're going to find the linear acceleration as the cylinder is falling. We're going to first apply net torque is equal to I times alpha. For the torque, we're going to choose the center of mass of the cylinder as our axis of rotation. This way, the only force producing a torque is the tension force. Gravity force is not going to exert any torque because it goes through the axis of rotation. So this gives us TR is equal to I times alpha. We're given that the rotational inertia of the cylinder is 1 over 2 mr squared, and using our bridging equation, we know that the linear acceleration is equal to alpha times r. Substituting the rotational inertia and the linear acceleration, we get TR is equal to 1 over 2 mr squared times a over r. The r's cancel out, and that gives us T is equal to 1 over 2 ma. Now we're going to analyze the translational motion of this cylinder. So we're going to apply Newton's second law. Net force in the y direction is equal to ma y. The net force is the force going the positive y direction minus the force going the negative y direction, and that gives us mg minus t is equal to ma. Substituting our expression for the tension force, we get mg minus 1 over 2 ma is equal to ma. I'm going to add 1 over 2 ma on both sides, and that gives us mg is equal to 3 over 2 ma. You'll notice that the masses will cancel out, and that gives us a linear acceleration of 2 over 3 times g. Next, we're going to look at a pulley with hanging masses. Two masses, m1 and m2, are connected by a string over a pulley of radius r and rotational inertia I. Find the acceleration of the system. Assume m2 is greater than m1, so m2 moves downward. We're going to choose m1 and m2 as our system, and we're going to choose counterclockwise to be positive. Our next step will be to draw the force diagram. There's gravity force on m2, which we'll call that m2g, and gravity force on m1, which we'll call m1g. There's also a tension force on m2, which we'll call that t2, and tension force on mass 1, we'll call that t1. Notice that t1 is not equal to t2. Since the pulley has rotational inertia, it needs a net torque to rotate. So t1 and t2 are not equal to each other. Our game plan will be to first find an expression for t1 and t2, and using that to calculate the acceleration of the system. We're going to first apply Newton's second law, net force equals ma, for both m1 and m2. I've chosen the positive direction to be counterclockwise of the pulley's motion, which means that for mass 1, the positive direction will be up, and for mass 2, the positive direction will be down. So for mass 1, the forces are in the positive direction is T1, and the forces in the negative direction is M1G. So we get T1 minus M1G is equal to M1A. Solving for T1, we get T1 is equal to M1G plus M1A. For mass 2, we get M2G minus T2 is equal to M2A. Solving for T2, we get T2 is equal to M2G minus M2A. Next, we're going to apply net torque is equal to I times alpha. The net torque acting on the pulley is the torque going in the positive direction minus the torque going in the negative direction, and that gives us T2R minus T1R is equal to I times alpha. Factoring out the R, we get R times T2 minus T1 is equal to I times alpha. And then using our bridging equation, linear acceleration is equal to alpha times R. Substituting alpha, we get R times T2 minus T1 is equal to I times A over R. Solving for T2 minus T1, we get T2 minus T1 is equal to IA over R squared. Next, we're going to combine these three equations and then solve for the acceleration. So we get m2g minus m2a minus parentheses m1g plus m1a is equal to IA over r squared. Distributing the negative sign, we get m2g minus m2a minus m1g minus m1a is equal to IA over r squared. Combining the MAs, we get m2g minus m1g minus parentheses m1a plus m2a is equal to IA over r squared. Moving all the a's to one side, we get m2 minus m1 times g is equal to IA over r squared plus parentheses m1 plus m2 times a. Factoring the a on the right-hand side, factoring out the a on the right-hand side, we get m2 minus m1 times g is equal to a times parentheses I over r squared plus m1 plus m2. And then solving for a, we get a is equal to parentheses m2 minus m1 times g all over I over r squared plus m1 plus m2. Next, we're going to look at a rolling without slipping problem. A rigid object of mass m, radius r, and rotational inertia I rolls without slipping down a ramp with a height of h. Find its speed at the bottom. We're going to set the bottom of the ramp as our reference height or our zero level. So yf is equal to 0. And the top of the ramp yi is equal to h. For this problem, we can use either rotational dynamics or energy to solve it. Using energy will allow you to solve it in less steps. So that's how we're going to solve it. Notice that we start with gravitational potential energy and we end up with kinetic energy at the bottom of the ramp. Now you might wonder about friction because the friction here is static friction. It's not doing any work on our system. So mechanical energy is conserved in this problem. The initial mechanical energy is just the gravitational potential energy of our object, which is mgh. The final mechanical energy of the object at the bottom of the ramp is both the translational kinetic energy and the rotational kinetic energy. So we have 1 over 2 mv squared plus 1 over 2 I omega squared. Remember, our bridging equation states that V is equal to omega times R. So substituting that into our equation, we get mgh is equal to 1 over 2 mv squared plus 1 over 2 I times V over R squared. Factoring out 1 over 2 v squared on the right-hand side, we get mgh is equal to 1 over 2 v squared times parentheses m plus I over r squared. Solving for v squared, we get v squared is equal to 2mgh over m plus I over r squared. Then square rooting both sides, we get v is equal to square root 2mgh all over m plus I over r squared. If you found this video helpful, check out my next video for more rotational motion problems.